Hello everyone, it's Andrea here with Real Talk with Dr. Bird, Holistic Health Edition. I wanted to take some time to kind of give an introduction about what led me on this path to where I am today. There was quite a few things that happened in my teenage years and early 20s. The biggest catalyst that catapulted me onto the holistic health journey that has unfolded for me has been regarding my oldest son, who was diagnosed with autism at the age of 4. We knew shortly after he was a year old that he had some sort of developmental delay, but there was a lot of different testing that went on between that age and age 4 for them to finally label him with autism. I have a whole different take on what autism is. But we can go into that at a different time. But what happened was something that was physical in nature. He received his 12-month pokes, and he was very lethargic that night, which I thought was unusual. He cried a lot, and it was shortly after that, maybe 2 days later, somewhere in that time, I noticed he had a fever, started a runny nose, and then there was a rash covering his entire back, and I believe it was on his torso as well. This has been almost 16 years ago now, so I took him into the doctor, and they just told me, well, this is something that's viral, so just allow it to run its course. So that kind of started his health decline, you can say. After that, he had reoccurrent ear issues. He had digestive issues. At first, it started out with a weird colored stool, and then it kind of, as it progressed, it moved into more constipation issues. Trying to think of what else. He had skin issues, and he started being very picky with the foods that he would consume. Textures were a huge thing. He couldn't handle anything that was slimy, like noodles. Pretty much he only had a few safe foods. And I'm trying to think of anything else. They diagnosed it as cyclic vomiting syndrome, so he would have episodes where he would vomit multiple times per day, and it would come and go. We did get him tested for possible seizures when he was about 2, because he would have these episodes where his eyes would do odd things. And that's where a neurologist got involved and said that there was a possible issue with encephalopathy. He saw a neurodevelopmental specialist practitioner at that around that same time as well, and she said, I don't think this is autism because he has eye contact and he is aware. So there was a lot of, during this time, from the time he was a year old until the time he was 6 and no longer qualified for the autism services in the area, where it has to be then done by the public school. He was in physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, feeding therapy. We were taking him to do neurofeedback at one point. We were taking him to a neurological chiropractor, which they would use special glasses to help neural pathways, and of course would do the chiropractic adjustments and do different things to use the vestibular system and kind of the whole body to get the neurological system functioning a little bit better. We took him to do Feldenkrais, but they were so booked out that we never even got in with them. We just had the initial assessment at that clinic. And the other thing that we did when he was 5, which kind of, he was probably even a little bit younger than that when I started researching more holistic approaches to autism. But I got involved with Generation Rescue. He was a grant recipient, and we started his, they call it a biomedical journey. So working with a biomedical doctor, so somebody who's an MD, but more integrative practitioner. So we were working with that, and we did the whole nutritional testing, blood test, stool test, all of that, and we started him on, at first it started out as a gluten-free, dairy-free diet, and then it was refined by the biomed doctor, more into, they found that he was sensitive to yeast, and I'll get into all those, the food sensitivity testing probably later on too, because now I wouldn't recommend those at all. So did all that testing. Of course, they look at the yeast, the parasites, the bacteria, the microbiome, all that stuff that I no longer would align with. So, but we did do nutritional supplementation, of course, changed his diet. We did see some progress with the, I think it was the DMSA, which is a detoxification. We did a cream with him, and we put it on his feet, and we did notice some speech progress after we did those, but we noticed he would get it, like it was too harsh on his system. He would get pretty ill afterwards, which now I'm like, yeah, that's the body getting the stuff out. But it was kind of too harsh for him. He needed something a little bit more gentle than that. So that's when I began looking at more of the ion cleanse to help with detox. Um, Let me see. We did methyl B12 injections with him. Didn't notice a thing, and then actually we got it. The last batch that we ever used with him had crystallized particles in it. And I sent a picture to his doctor, his biomed doctor, and I said, I don't think these are supposed to be in the vials. I'm not going to use them. And he said, yes, it's best not to, and to get a hold of the compounding pharmacy. I just threw them all away, and we never used them because we never seen any gains from it. Another gain that we noticed with supplementation was carnosine. That seemed to help bring about a little bit more speech. And we did so many different supplements. So after doing that regimen for so long, I was like, okay, I think something needs to change. So when that happens, usually stuff is sent your way so that you can make that change. So I was meeting certain groups of autism parents online, and there was like the Thinking Moms Revolution, Talk About Curing Autism Now. There may have been some other ones, but I got in touch with a mom from California, and she was recommending energy healing for kids with autism. So she was actually teaching other parents how to work with their children with autism, and so I took one of her courses and implemented that, and quickly noticed that he responded very well to that. So I knew that that was something that was going to be very vital and prominent used with him, and I started doing it on myself and noticed a huge change. And then I signed up for a master's in vibrational medicine program and got fully certified in the level 3 Reiki Master Teacher certification, and began using that, of course, and noticed a huge difference. I also was continuously reading books, reading information from other parents on what are they finding beneficial. And that's when I came across Heilkunst, I think that's how you say it, homeopathy. And that's where you write out the timeline for your child in reverse order. So the most recent traumas and all the way back to basically almost like the conception of them. So we were working through those with a certified homeopath, and we saw a lot of changes through that. A few years ago, we kind of fell off the wagon with that, just because now that I know more about all of this sort of stuff, as I've grown into more of my skills and different things and just had my own awakening process, I've learned that you can tap into that naturally. You don't actually need a homeopathic remedy to clear that. So we've worked on doing that when I've worked with him doing the energy work. So So we found that homeopathy and the energy healing, which homeopathy is a type of energy healing, um, works wonderful for not only him in particular, but I work with other clients who have autism as well, and energy healing is something that their system responds to fairly well, most likely because their nervous system is dysregulated. So the energy is very subtle, um, and it works at the deepest layer. So it's working at that organizational pattern for the body, the template on how the physical reality is going to manifest. So it's subtle but profound. So I would say at his 12-month well baby visit where they have the pokey pokes, is when his body was overloaded, um, which of course these kids are sensitive in the first place, so if their body overloads, then they become even more sensitive. My thirst for continuously learning led me to, of course, natural health, to get my certification in that. I began in 2016 the program, and it was shortly after that that I was going through my own stuff, healing journey at that time. So I took a little bit of time off and started again in, I believe it was 2021. So I graduated in 2022 with that, as a certified holistic health practitioner, which then I was able to set for my board exam to get the board certified naturopathic doctor title, which I did that. And as the lifelong learner that I am, I continued to take courses and different programs in craniosacral therapy, which is very good for those with autism and a whole host of other diagnoses that they can assist with. I've taken myofascial release. So his journey has just opened me up to learning more about different modalities and how they can help not only autism but a lot of chronic conditions. So it has just kind of opened me up to a whole bunch of things and rethinking, reprogramming myself, not having such tight linear boxes. Everything's not black and white, everything's not linear. Most things aren't linear, a lot of things aren't black and white. There's a gray, a lot of it in there, but I just took all of what I've learned and created the services that I offer to people. But now I want to take it even broader and assist others out there who don't have access, maybe financially, to reach out and get help from a naturopathic doctor, or just to open people's minds to, because sometimes people do go to a naturopathic doctor and it's very rigid and linear, and a lot of the paradigm and principles that they utilize are still based in reductionist, materialistic, medical still paradigms. So essentially it's my goal to help or assist as many people as I can. Open the minds of people to live a more non-linear lifestyle, less stressful lifestyle with very little metrics, not constricted, confined, someone who feels like a free, sovereign human being, so that people can live life again, not in fear, kind of like I explained in the first video. See beyond the manipulation, the greed, the structure or matrix that society has been for so long, kind of break free from that pattern. See differently, experience differently, believe and know differently. And that's my goal, spread knowledge. And I believe that's the reason why I've experienced, there's been multiple things in my life besides my son with autism, but I believe that's what he has come in to teach me as well. And to truly reflect on my own programming, to break myself free from all that conditioning, all the indoctrination. Yes, I may have gone through the naturopathic schooling, but I believe totally different than most naturopaths do. And since 2020, listening to Dr. Tom Cowan, Dr. Andrew Kaufman, Dr. Sam and Mark Bailey, there's been numerous others, Dr. Bear Paul Lando, who have opened my eyes to question almost absolutely everything that we've been taught and how we think, and to break things down, to digest and understand where in the process something can be falsified. And that has helped immensely in my own journey. So I feel it's important to pass that stuff on to others as well. And there's much more beyond that, in the common law sense, in the voluntarist mentality. It goes deeply into the spiritual, energetic realm of things, and once you step into that, your whole perception and view of things changes. That's why I foresee how I do things in my own business shifting along with this as I shift as well. And I've already made quite a few shifts in the last couple years with it. So there's some major misalignments within the naturopathic paradigm that I'm going to be shifting. So that's a little bit about me. Trying to think if there's anything else. Of course, I went to a traditional college as well and got a bachelor's in healthcare administration. So, well, yeah, I've grown since then. I also have a graduate certificate, master's level in autism spectrum disorders, special education. Um, yeah, I've done quite a bit. It seems like I've been in school a long time, and as I shift and grow, a bunch of layers get shed, and all those beliefs kind of fall away. A lot of times I was going through the motions and answering the questions how the teachers wanted them through the tests, how they wanted answered, but I didn't believe necessarily that way. But especially in the autism spectrum certification and the naturopathic schooling, at that time in 2022, I think is when I graduated, early 2022, and I still didn't believe a lot of what they were discussing. I'm sure there's more about me, but that's all that I can remember at this time. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment section below. If you have any suggestions on what you would like me to talk about or go over, you can leave those in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a wonderful week. Bye.